If you miss my wedding, Madison, I'm done with you forever. The words hung in the air between the two sisters like a loaded weapon. Lieutenant Colonel Madison Viper Reynolds, the woman who'd led special forces teams through the deadliest missions in 3 different war zones, felt her chest tighten at her younger sister's ultimatum. Sophia Reynolds stood in her wedding dress fitting room, tears streaming down her face as she stared at her reflection. At 26, she was tired of being second place to her sister's military career, tired of watching Madison choose strangers over family, tired of understanding. "Soph, that's not fair," Madison began, but Sophia spun around, her voice breaking. 16 years, Madison. 16 years of, sorry, there's an emergency. 16 years of empty chairs at Christmas dinner. Missed birthdays and FaceTime calls from God knows where instead of hugs. Madison stood frozen as her sister continued, each word hitting like shrapnel. Dad's funeral. You missed it for a training exercise, my college graduation, deployment, my engagement party, some classified mission you couldn't even tell me about. Sophia's voice dropped to a whisper. I'm getting married once, Madison, once, and if you can't choose me this one time, ... The bridal shop fell silent except for Sophia's quiet sobbing. Madison looked at her sister, beautiful, heartbroken Sophia, who'd spent her whole life loving. A ghost, I promise, Madison said, her voice carrying the same steel she used when commanding troops. I swear on Dad's grave that nothing will keep me from being your maid of honor. Nothing. Sophia met her sister's eyes in the mirror. You've made promises before. This one's different. Why? Madison stepped forward, placing her hands on Sophia's shoulders. Because if I break this one, I lose you forever, and I'd rather die than let that happen. 6 months later, at 5 o'clock in the morning on Sophia's wedding day, Madison's secure phone shattered the pre-dawn silence of Fort Benning. She knew before answering what this call would mean. Emergency calls at dawn only. Brought one thing, impossible choices. Colonel Reynolds? She answered, her voice steady despite her racing heart. Madison, we have a situation, General Harrison's voice was grim. American hostages in Venezuela. Ambassador Williams and his family, including his 4-year-old daughter and 7-year-old son, Madison's blood turned to ice. She knew Ambassador Williams. He'd served with her father in Desert Storm, had attended Madison's commissioning ceremony 8 years ago, his children. Timeline? She asked, though she already knew her world was about to implode. Rebels plan to execute them in 18 hours unless their demands are met. We don't negotiate with terrorists, Madison, you know that. Madison looked at her dress blues hanging in the closet, the uniform she'd planned to wear to Sophia's ceremony. Next to it hung the blush-pink bridesmaid. Dress Sophia had chosen specifically because it'll look perfect with your complexion, Maddie. Wheels up in 90 minutes, the general continued. You're the only one qualified to lead this extraction. Those children are counting on you. Madison closed her eyes, seeing Sophia's tear-streaked face from 6 months ago. If you miss my wedding, Madison, I'm done with you forever. But she also saw Ambassador Williams's family photo on her desk. Little Lucy with her gap-toothed smile. Marcus with his baseball cap. Their parents beaming with pride at some family barbecue. I'll be ready, sir, Madison said quietly, hating herself with every word. At that exact moment, 200 miles away in Savannah, Sophia Reynolds was having her hair styled for the biggest day of her life. Your sister's going to cry when she sees you, Emma, her maid of honor substitute, said as the stylist pinned delicate flowers into Sophia's blonde hair. Madison's never seen you this beautiful. Sophia smiled, her heart full of excitement. She promised she'd be here early. Knowing Madison, she's probably already at the venue checking security and making sure everything's perfect. She laughed. She's been planning my wedding like it's a military operation. The other bridesmaids giggled, but Sophia's joy was pure. For the first time in 16 years, Madison had kept her word. No last-minute calls, no emergency deployments, no broken promises. This morning, Sophia had woken up to a text from Madison. Getting dressed now. Can't wait to stand beside my baby sister today. Love you, Soph. What Sophia didn't know was that Madison had sent that text before the phone call that destroyed Everything. Madison's hands shook as she scrolled to Sophia's contact. Her sister's engagement photo smiled back at her, Sophia wrapped in her fiancé's arms, both of them laughing at something their photographer had said. Pure joy captured in pixels. The call went straight to voicemail. Of course, Sophia was probably getting her nails done, her phone buried somewhere while she enjoyed her last morning as a single woman. Soph, it's me, Madison began, her voice catching. I need you to know that what I'm about to tell you is breaking my heart. There's a mission. American children are going to die if someone doesn't. She stopped, unable to find words that would make this betrayal hurt any less. I'm so sorry. I love you more than my own life, and I'll spend the rest of my days making this up to you. 90 minutes later, Madison was airborne in a C-17, surrounded by America's most elite operators. But instead of reviewing tactical briefings, she found herself staring at photos from Sophia's bridal shower on her phone. Her sister glowing with happiness, surrounded by friends who kept asking, "Where's Madison?" We can't wait to meet the famous soldier sister. Master Sergeant Jackson Torres, her closest friend and second in command, dropped into the seat beside her. You look like someone just told you Christmas was canceled, Colonel. My sister's getting married today, Madison said quietly. Jackson whistled low. Jesus, ma'am, that's brutal. But those kids in Venezuela, need me more than Sophia needs me in a bridesmaid dress? Madison finished, I know. Doesn't make me feel less like the worst sister in history. 800 miles away in Savannah, Sophia Reynolds was discovering that her maid of honor had vanished. Has anyone seen Madison? Sophia asked for the 6th time in 2 hours, trying to keep the panic out of her voice. She stood in the bridal suite at Magnolia Gardens, surrounded by her bridesmaids, college friends Emma and Claire, and Jake's sister Rachel. She's probably just stuck in traffic, Emma offered weakly. You know how I-95 can be. But Sophia knew. Her sister. Madison was never late for anything important. If she was going to be late, she would have called, unless the voicemail notification chimed. Sophia's heart leaped, then immediately shattered as she listened to Madison's message. She's not coming, Sophia said quietly, staring at her phone. There's a mission. Children are involved. She looked up at her concerned friends. My sister isn't coming to my wedding. The room fell silent except for the distant sound of wedding guests arriving in the parking lot below. Sophia, I'm so sorry, Rachel said gently. But maybe she finished early. Military stuff can be fast, right? Sophia shook her head, tears streaming down her freshly applied makeup. When Madison gets that voice, that mission voice, it means she's going somewhere dangerous for God knows how long. She's chosen strangers over me again. 3,000 miles away in the Venezuelan mountains, Madison was learning that some promises are impossible to keep. The intelligence had been wrong, dead wrong. The compound where the Williams family was supposedly being held was empty except for 3 guards who surrendered without firing a shot. But hidden cameras revealed the truth. The real hostages were being held in a cave system 30 miles deeper into the mountains, and the rebels had been watching American forces the entire time. It's a shell game, Captain Riley Martinez, her intelligence officer, reported grimly. They've been moving the hostages every 6 hours. We're chasing ghosts? Madison checked her watch. 1,500 hours local time. Sophia's ceremony would begin in 4 hours. If they could locate the real hostage site quickly, if the extraction went perfectly, if everything that could go right did go right. Ma'am, Torres interrupted her thoughts. Drone surveillance found them. Cave complex 40 miles northeast. But here's the problem. It's a 3-hour hike through hostile terrain. The entrance is rigged with enough explosives to bring down half the mountain. Madison felt her heart sink. A 3-hour approach, unknown time to safely extract 4 hostages. From a booby-trapped cave, plus extraction time. She was looking at a minimum 8-hour operation. Sophia's wedding would be over before Madison could even reach the hostages. At exactly 7 o'clock Eastern Time. As Madison rappelled down a cliff face in Venezuela, Sophia Reynolds walked down the aisle at Magnolia Gardens. She looked breathtaking. In her flowing ivory gown, her blonde hair swept into an elegant updo with baby's breath woven throughout. Her father walked beside her with tears streaming down his face, proud and heartbroken in equal measure. Proud of his daughter's beauty and grace. Heartbroken that his eldest daughter wasn't there to share this moment. Jake stood at the altar in his navy dress blues, his eyes widening as he saw his bride. But as Sophia approached, she felt Madison's absence like a gaping wound. The empty space where her sister should have been standing seemed to echo with 16 years of missed moments and broken promises. When she reached the altar and handed her bouquet to Emma, sweet Emma, who was trying her best but wasn't family, wasn't the person Sophia had dreamed of having by her side since they were little girls. All she could think about was Madison's voice 6 months ago. I promise, Sophia. Nothing will keep me from standing beside you. As the officiant began the ceremony, Sophia found herself scanning the crowd, hoping against hope that she'd see Madison slip through the back doors, still in uniform, but there, finally there when it mattered most. But the doors remained closed. Deep in the Venezuelan cave system, Madison faced the most challenging extraction of her career. The Williams family was alive, but barely. Ambassador Williams had a severe head injury, his wife was in shock, and their children, 4-year-old Lily and 7-year-old Marcus, were dehydrated and terrified. Worse, the rebels had wired the cave with motion-activated charges. One wrong step, one triggered sensor, and the entire family would be buried alive. How long do you need? Madison asked Sergeant Kim Park, her demolitions expert, as he studied the sophisticated trigger system. To disarm this without killing anyone? 6 hours minimum, maybe 8 if they've got backup triggers. Madison felt her world collapse. 8 hours would put them well past midnight. Even if everything went perfectly from that point forward, Sophia's wedding would be nothing but a memory. She pulled out her satellite phone. Staring at Sophia's contact for a long moment, what could she say? She was choosing strangers over family again? That duty trumped love one more time? Instead, she put the phone away and got back to work. 4 lives hung in the balance, including 2 children who just wanted to go home. But as she worked to save the Williams family, Madison made a decision that would change everything. Torres, Madison called her second-in-command over. I need you to take command of the extraction. Jackson's eyes widened. Ma'am, you're not abandoning the mission, are you? I'm delegating it to the most competent operator I know, Madison said firmly. You've run extractions like this before. The Williams family needs to get home, but they don't specifically need me to make that happen. Colonel, with all due respect, this is career suicide. You can't just leave a hostage rescue for a wedding? Madison looked at her watch. 21:30 hours local time. Sophia's reception would be in full swing now. First dance, cake cutting, all the moments Madison had promised to share with her sister. Jackson, do you have siblings? Yes, ma'am. 3 sisters. Have you ever broken a promise to them? Really broken it in a way that cut them to the bone? Jackson was quiet for a moment. Yes, ma'am. Did you ever get the chance to make it right? No, ma'am. My youngest sister died in a car accident before I could. Madison met his eyes. Then you understand why I have to go. What happened next defied every military protocol Madison had ever learned. While Torres and the team continued the delicate work of disarming the cave, Madison coordinated the most audacious extraction of her career, not of hostages, but of herself. Using her command authority, she arranged for an emergency helicopter to extract her to the Colombian border. From there, a military transport would fly her to Atlanta, where a convoy of vehicles would race her to Savannah. Ma'am, the Joint Chiefs are going to have your head for this, Captain Martinez warned as Madison prepared to leave. Let them, Madison replied, checking her gear one final time. Some things are more important than rank. The helicopter ride to Colombia was a blur of jungle canopy and radio chatter about the ongoing hostage situation. Madison monitored every detail, staying connected to her team while also coordinating her own impossible timeline. Land in Colombia, 2300 hours. Takeoff for Atlanta, 2330 hours. Arrival in Atlanta, 0200 hours. Drive time to Savannah, 4 hours. Arrival at reception venue, 0600 hours. If Sophia's reception followed the typical Southern wedding timeline, the party would still be going strong at 6 in the morning. Madison might actually make it at 5:45 in the morning as the sun began to rise over the Georgia coast. 3 black military SUVs raced down Highway 16 toward Savannah. In the lead vehicle, Madison sat still wearing her combat fatigues, her hair pulled back in a tactical bun, her face streaked with camouflage paint she hadn't had time to wash off. Her phone buzzed with updates from Venezuela, hostages secured. Williams' family safe, all targets neutralized, mission successful. Madison closed her eyes in relief. Torres had done it. The family was safe, and her career wouldn't be completely destroyed by her decision to leave. But more important,